Okay, starting up, running late. I'm always in trouble. Um, I'm building the train pieces. This is where we are with this particular setup. This is what I call the pivot frame. These are the side frames. This is a partial print because it didn't work, but I wanted to test this piece because this particular ear was done to a specific screw, a different screw, which is the one that we use to mount our couplings. I'm using this link screw because it has a longer shoulder and it has a nice flat head and it's the right thread size. So I found one that I have that is like very new, and I took this partial piece and it was a little tight, and I went up to the next size. I had a 3.15 millimeter drill bit. Just measured that. I measured it, found it, and it just went. Whoop, it just went in. It just went in perfect. It's no, there's no slop. It's very nice. The head fits flat, and the screw is straight. And there's a tiniest bit of shoulder coming through. So I'm going to pinch the plastic, but only slightly. Now you've seen this. I've had a couple of them. Here's another one, I think. Yeah, this one I melted in with my thermo device. This is a very ugly print. I've been practicing and learning how to make things prettier, and I'm not worried about that right now. I think I got some epoxy on my finger. Anyway, but I was testing these to fit, and I pressed those in with heat. I pressed that in with heat. Then I enlarged the holes, thinking, what if I can just get them to press in? These guys did. The bushings just pressed in, no heat required, and they work very nicely. Here's an axle, and yeah, I could show you. They fit in. There's a lot of depth to them. They can go way past this, and it spins very nicely. And it's brass, so it's going to conduct very nicely. Well, we don't need it to really, but it would. Okay, so then I put this screw in, and I started it. I spin it on the threads just to get it started. And I'm observing, is it square? Is it at an angle? Is it hanging funny? And it's just great. It's working just great. So I tighten this up, hold it in the right position, which shouldn't matter, but it might. I tighten it up, and I find that it's really snug. So I'm going to back it out like 1/8 of a turn, and I have a good squeeze, but maybe not. I'll go another 1/8, maybe just a 16th. Oh, there, now it's not really free, but it's very loose. Okay, very loose. And if you look at this, when I move, see if I can move this. I'll move the piece, and the screw head doesn't change. What that means is I'm pivoting now. The screw and the frame are one, and this part is pivoting around it, which is exactly what we want to do. Now, when we look at the forces on this thing, this is the yoke, and it's going to have the tender, right, is going to be sitting on top of it, like that. So the forces are all down. We're going to be trying to drive that screw into the yoke and the yoke into the frame, not rip it out. Down would be not good because it's thinner there, right? But pushing it up is a lot. There's a lot there, and you just can't. You just can't push it up. There's too much there. So that's a good thing. So as we're riding along, we have good articulation capability. We don't need a lot. You're not going to be hitting boulders, right? You're just going to be hitting like an axle, or you know what I mean, that thickness of thing. So this is going to work out great. The shoulder bolt and the piece that it goes into is so nice that, look at this, I can't really hold it. I can't, if I hold this, I can just barely wiggle it. Just barely wiggle it. So once I get the axle assemblies in, they're going to stay straight and they're going to stay flat and they're going to roll, I think. I would like to restrict this twist type, all of this, I'd like to restrict that a littlest bit, because you don't need all of it, and you need some, but not much. But I'm going to work on that over time. But these are earlier models, okay? So these are going to get changed out. This is the production chassis, though. This is the real chassis. I'm going to paint it black. Didn't have my black, and I'm not going to print it again because I only need one, and this one is just perfect. It really is perfect. Came out lovely. Screws will. Thing I like here is I made these flush so that the screw hides in there. So when it's mounted to the chassis, you'll see the screw would be hidden. So from the side, you don't see anything. It'll just be like this. On the ends are open because we have wires and some other stuff coming out, but that's not a big deal. That's going to look great. And then our piece here will screw in like that, and the coupler will screw in like that, and that everything will be, I think, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm working right now on getting this perfected. I mean, downright perfected. So I got to make sure when this is flat on the table, this is parallel, not angled anyway, and it looks great. Everything looks great. And I'm in the process of printing the final version of this, so it'll be complete. And then I'm going to print 2 more of these, and they'll be full dressed, but they'll look nicer. I now know how to make them look nicer, and I'm excited. I think it's going to work out. So this is the tender truck for the Vanderbilt, which was also designed to fit the American Flyer chassis, and this happens to be my chassis for a streamlined plastic, right? 356, I think, silver bullet. So I'm going to put these on. I'm going to put the prototype ones on here. I don't care too much about the exact. Well, I know the productions are going to be better, but for me, I just want to be able to test out the all-wheel input and get that engine running. Okay, that's it. I got a lot of other things to do when Let's Printing. I'm going to be making my production wiring setups, getting them modeled after these, and the lengths and the crooks and all that. Show you how that gets done, and then we'll have the trucks and the wiring, and the chassis can be assembled. You saw all the electronics are already set and ready to go. I put on the Firebox, and the Firebox actually, the lights are going to come through here. See those 3 dots? Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting where I am. There's 3 dots in there. Hard to tell, but there are. Where is this? Oh, there they are. There's the 3 dots. Each one of those dots is going to have a colored lens coming out, and I'm going to have a plastic diffuser sort of over it, so it'll just glow and flicker and look like fire. It's going to be really, I think it'll be really nice. And then this bolts to that coupler. Uh-oh, I hear footsteps. It's time for the Frankentrain lab to turn the lights out. It's 5:45. She always gets upset when I work late, but I never get done. I always have more. Okay, out of here. Talk to you later. I'll post this and you can check me out. Okay, later.